Well, there's few things in life as constant as the fact that Kathleen Kennedy will never be fired from Lucasfilm, and Lucasfilm will always have new movie announcements that may or may not ever happen, and it seems we have another edition of that, as over the weekend there was a Star Wars celebration in Japan, and a new movie was announced that some people are excited for, and we're going to talk about what that movie is and why I'm not that excited, just because we'll see if it happens. And I think I have some pretty good reasons to kind of have this stance with this. So we're going to read through some articles here and talk about it. So hi, I'm Jared with Capture the Magic, and this is from Deadline, and it says Star Wars Starfighter Sean Levy, Ryan Gosling revealed details and premiere date for new film at Star Wars Celebration. Now, this movie has been rumored for a long time, like Ryan Gosling doing a Star Wars movie, and up until now, I hadn't heard anything definitive, but obviously they did present this. It says director Sean Levy, who directed Deadpool Wolverine, which I wouldn't say was a great movie. It was a successful movie, given that it was Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds playing Wolverine and Deadpool, but I don't think it was due to the movie's quality, if I'm being perfectly honest. But I did enjoy the movie. I just didn't think it was the strongest movie in terms of a story and everything else going on with it. But director Sean Levy and Ryan Gosling took the stage today in Tokyo, Japan for Star Wars Celebration, officially announcing their upcoming project, Star Wars Starfighter. Set 5 years after the rise of Skywalker.
Why?
Why did they have to mention that movie? The new installment is set to go into production this fall and premiere May 28th, 2027, exclusively in theaters. Said Levy, there are many rumors, some true, some not. This is not a prequel. This is not a sequel. It's a new adventure. Gosling praised the installment as such a great story with great and original characters, as well as so much heart and adventure, adding there is not a more perfect filmmaker for this particular story than Sean. And then there's a little clip of Ryan Gosling coming out at Star Wars Celebration.
That rumor is 100% true.
Well, the music's gonna get me hit if I don't stop that. It says, until now, the project, which is being written by Jonathan Troper, for the last 2 years has been under wraps. It's a standalone movie outside the Luke Skywalker core canon, while Disney's Lucasfilm has multiple Star Wars features in development with James Mangold, Simon Kinberg, and a Rey post-Episode 9 movie with Daisy Ridley returning.
This is the worst!
And Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy directing. The Levy Star Wars project is known to be in tip-top, fast-track shape. It says Levy's Star Wars movie would be the second after next year's The Mandalorian and Grogu to hit the screens following 2019 Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, which minted $1.77 billion. But the rumors are with The Rise of Skywalker, that movie actually didn't make money because the budget ballooned. That movie essentially maybe broke even, but it definitely fell off when you look at the first installment of the sequel trilogy, which was The Force Awakens. But in terms of this movie, I like Ryan Gosling. I don't have anything against him. And at this point with Star Wars, I'm at apathy. And this is really the death of a brand, which is when you just don't care anymore. And then it's also not just the movies being bad and the TV shows being bad, just to the point where you're like, what is going on here? I don't care about any of this. It's also Disney and the actors themselves that continually attack the fan base, which, mind you, are the people that pay to watch the shows and movies that they want to produce. And they continually just announce new things that many times don't get made. So even if you are excited for this, I don't know if I would get too excited, because there are some reasons as to why you may not. As there's a few things that have been announced over the years that haven't come to fruition in the most recent history. So we're not going to go back to this stuff before really Disney owned them. You had Colin Trevorrow's Star Wars Duel of the Fates, canceled in 2017 over creative differences. You had Boba Fett's solo Star Wars movie, which eventually got turned into the Book of Boba Fett, which was a terrible, terrible show. You had the Mos Eisley Spaceport movie that never happened. And then you had Guillermo del Toro's The Rise and Fall of Jabba the Hutt, which did not happen. You had David Benioff and D.B. Weiss from the Game of Thrones. They were going to do a Star Wars trilogy. That did not happen. Rangers of the New Republic did not happen. Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron also did not happen. Kevin Feige's Star Wars movie, which was announced, even though they tried to act like it wasn't. It was announced at one point, and obviously that has not happened. Damon Lindelof's Rey Skywalker film. The Rey Skywalker movie has had, I don't know how many different writers at this point. But another movie planned by Lucasfilm was reportedly a story set after the sequels, focusing on Rey rebuilding the Jedi Order, even though nobody wants a Rey movie. And apparently, since nobody wants a Rey movie, they're going to force it on you with multiple new movies. And then it was scrapped for creative differences. So there is a litany of movies and shows that have been announced by Lucasfilm that have not happened. So will this one happen? It could. I don't know if it'd be any good. I have no clue. I like Ryan Gosling. I don't know about Sean Levy. I don't know about the person writing it. But at this point with Star Wars, it has to be a great movie for people to really go see this, because the Star Wars name is not going to draw people to the theaters like it would anymore, in my opinion. I think the next movie that comes out, which is The Mandalorian and Grogu, is going to be very interesting to see how fans receive this movie, because the last Star Wars movie was The Rise of Skywalker, and they haven't had any other movies since then. And for a movie franchise, what Star Wars is, that has been turned into a Disney Plus franchise, which fledgling results there, really. I mean, most of the shows outside The Mandalorian have not done very well. The Acolyte didn't do well. Most of them have floundered to some degree or had diminishing returns. And Kathleen Kennedy is still in charge. Seemingly, she will be there forever. I have no doubt that she will be. And there were rumors that she was going to walk away by the end of the year. I have a feeling that made her more mad, and she's just going to stick on for another 10 years. I don't know. Apparently, she can't be fired no matter what she does, even though she has gone out of her way to essentially ruin Star Wars. I don't know anybody that has faith in this, that it's going to be good. I suppose it has the potential to be good, but in my opinion as well, I don't know why Star Wars continues to play in this sandbox of essentially around the original trilogy or the sequel trilogy. What, in my opinion, they'd be so much better off either going 1,000 years in the future or 1,000 years in the past and starting fresh with a brand new story. But the more they play in this sandbox around the original time period, it just continues to mess with the original trilogy. And for a lot of people who still hold on to that version of Star Wars, it gets harder the more prequels they do, the more sequels they do, because it just tarnishes and it just diminishes what the original trilogy was in the prequels. And I'm just left in a point where I don't really care. I don't know. If it's a good movie, I might go see it, but I'm not going to be knocking down the doors day one to go check this out. And I don't have any faith in Lucasfilm. I have literally no faith in them making a good movie or a TV show at this point. If one happened, like say The Mandalorian, from everything I've understood, it was kind of an accident. It just sort of happened. Jon Favreau kind of took charge of it, kind of did his own thing. It ended up being a success, and then Lucasfilm ended up getting more involved with it, and then as the seasons have gone on, it has diminishing returns. So I don't have any faith that Lucasfilm can do a proper Star Wars movie at all. To me, the best one they ever did was the first one they did, which was Rogue One, and I still don't think that was a great Star Wars movie, but it was the best one Disney has done. But it's really sad where Star Wars is. I mean, books will be written about the fall of Star Wars, about once Disney bought it, what they did to it, how you had this brand that would print money with toys and movies and all this potential. And now it's literally just a sub-headline for most people. Usually a Star Wars movie 10, 15 years ago announcement would have been major, major news. And for the most part, people are just sort of like, oh, okay. And also, because of the other things as well, not everybody believes that it's going to get made, because so many things have been announced that have not gone through with. I have a feeling perhaps the best case scenario for this movie is the fact that it's a decent movie, has a pretty decent opening weekend. If they can keep the budgets low on this, which it's Disney and Lucasfilm, so probably not, but if they can keep the budget low, it has a chance of making money if you're able to keep it within reason, and it doesn't have to make $1 billion to break even, like some movies we've seen essentially. If the break-even point is $100 to $200 million for this movie, maybe makes $400 or $500 million, that would be a successful movie. And if they do more of these movies that they don't have to be trilogies, they're more of these independent movies, I'm not against the idea of having more people come in, tell different stories in the era of certain things. But again, I just don't have any faith in Lucasfilm. And until proven otherwise, I'm not going to hold out any hope that any of this is going to be any good. And I really don't have any hope that even once Kathleen Kennedy steps down, that it's going to change, because more than likely whoever takes over her place is just going to be somebody who Kathleen Kennedy chose that's going to choose to do the same things she has done. So to me, the best thing for this brand could be it gets put on pause for a decade or more, and then you relaunch it at some point. I would say the same thing for Marvel, but I know Disney, I know Lucasfilm's not going to do that. They pay too much money for these things, and they're just going to continue to make movies and shows, probably with decreasing returns. So if this movie gets made, if it doesn't perform well, I'm sure Lucasfilm and Disney will come out and blame the fan base, because that's what they always do when it comes to Lucasfilm movies, that if they come out and they're not accepted well, they don't make money. it's the terrible fans' fault because they're terrible people that don't like our movies because we make great movies and they're just bad people. That's essentially their tagline for everything at this point. You still have Star Wars actors to this day blaming Star Wars fans, all sorts of things. So it's perplexing how this happens with Star Wars, how they've attacked a fan base that kept this franchise alive for decades before Disney bought it. And then when Disney bought it, they essentially turn around and just start lambasting the fan base as terrible, except for the fact that they're just not making good movies and shows. I don't think it's really that complicated. Doesn't make the fan base bad. It just makes them, they want a certain thing, and they haven't been doing that, but I digress. But it's all rather tiresome at this point when it comes to Star Wars and rather predictable. But I suppose getting a fresh new actor in there, Ryan Gosling, you know, he is a hot commodity. I suppose he's somebody that hasn't been in Star Wars before. Sean Levy as well. Maybe they can bring it in a different direction. Maybe it can have a cool story, but I'm not going to hold out hope. If I'm proven wrong, hey, that's great. But either way, that's going to be it, though, for this video. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel, as we do lots of coverage here of theme parks and pop culture. And let us know in the comments if you're excited for the Star Wars Starfighter movie. And until next time, we will see you later.